Hey everybody, James from the Marine Doctors YouTube channel, and my wife said, don't make this video. And I said, but I have to make this video. She said, no, don't. I said, but I'm going to. I'm going to. So the information that I'm going to be giving you guys is based on two-stroke engines that work on ADI ignition, so that's alternator-driven ignition systems. That's AC powering the ignition system, not DC. DC is different. It's come to my attention that YouTubers are spreading misinformation about ohms tests and saying that ohm tests are the way to test ignition systems in the marine industry. And I'm going to say that that's partially true, but I'm going to say that that's also false. As a professional, we use the ohms test for specific reasons, but for the most part, I use a DVA meter, and this is why. An ohms test, for example, is one that's being touted as being the go-to, and an ohms test is only, well, it's not really that accurate for what we're doing. Ohms test is for measuring a low voltage through a wire and getting a reading on the other side to prove that the wire itself is fine, or for checking resistors, capacitors, things like that. So what do I use? I use a DVA meter, and what that allows me to do is run the engine or spin the engine over and have a high voltage current move through the wires that we're testing in order to see where the failure is. So if, for example, we're testing a stator, the stator starts the initial current and it pushes it through to the power pack. So if we don't have any DVA reading there, then we know for sure that that stator itself isn't functioning. The problem with an ohms test is, and I can give you some examples. Think of a one strand of wire. So if we've got a wire that's broken, but it's only connected by a strand, we could still see an adequate ohms test, and we would pass the stator and move on to, say, the power pack or the switch box and purchase a switch box or a power pack for X number of dollars when we never should have. Okay, so there's that. We could always, for example, run the engine and test it, or sorry, spin the engine over and get the stator hot, which would then maybe give us an ohms test that would be a little more accurate. Or another test would be maybe heat the component up with a hairdryer and see if heat creates any kind of issues with regards to that part, or that part failing. But what we're seeing on the internet is ohms test, ohm test, ohm test. Bring out the CDI guide, check the ohms, check the ohms. It's not the right way to do things, guys. It isn't. The last thing that myself as a professional want you to do is spend more money than you don't have to. And the next worst thing, obviously, is be out on the water and have that same failure take place, especially if you're out with kids and so on and so forth, or far from shore, because then you're left with, well, panic and the possibility of someone being hurt, or even the possibility of the kids never wanting to go fishing with dear old dad anymore. And we don't want that to happen, right? So the DVA meter is the go-to tool for professionals. Ohms are good if there's a broken wire and it's a quick find for a smoking. So it's a smoking gun for a quick find is what I'm trying to say. So if the wire is broken and we don't have anything going through the meter, or through the wires showing up on the meter, then we know for sure that that component has failed. But like I said, we can get misleading information from the ohms tests. The next thing is voltmeters. Voltmeters are fantastic for checking DC voltages, but they can also lead us in the wrong direction. If we have a battery and it's hooked up to our regular wiring system and it runs through and it goes to, say, an electric trolling motor or an electric motor itself, so a tilt motor, for example, we can activate the switch or trace the wires, and we can find 12 volts at the proper end. But that doesn't mean that that component is going to work. We need amperage to get through. So amperage and voltage is different. We can have 12 volts when we're supposed to have 50 amps, or we can have 12 volts when we have 3 amps, right? We don't know that. So by utilizing the voltage meter in the wrong way, we can indeed come up with the wrong answer and replace, again, components that don't need to be replaced. So when we're dealing with electric trolling motors or tilt motors and things like that, probably the best thing to do is to take all the wires out of the equation and find a way to safely hot wire, and by hot wire I mean just put a battery in place aside from your whole wiring system and see if you can then get it to operate. That's the smart way to do it. Don't just change components. We could have dirty wires, we could have bad contacts, we could have broken contacts, and even if we ohm spec those wires, again, the single strand idea, we can still get an ohms test that's correct. And we don't want that. That's not why we're testing and trying to fix things. We're trying to, well, if you're doing it at home as the DIY person, you're trying to save money. And you're not going to save money by replacing components because of faulty testing methods. So a lot of the stuff on the internet, take it with a grain of salt. It's accurate to a degree, but it's not the professional way to do it. It's the short, quick method to find out if you've got a broken wire. It doesn't mean that the component is failed unless the specs are really out. So if we're looking for, say, 500 ohms and we come up with 50 ohms, there's a very good chance that that component has failed and you got lucky. It still doesn't mean that that's the only component that has failed. I have been in this for over 35 years, and for example, if you've got a Mercury engine, an old inline 6, and it's got a stator on it. So the voltage starts at the stator, it then goes to the power pack, the trigger switches on and off and tells the power pack to allow the current through. But in order for us to properly test the switch box, we have to have a component two components that are working properly. We have to have the stator that sends the voltage down, and then we have to have the trigger that tells the switch box when to flip those switches to allow the current through. If we replace a stator and it still doesn't work, we still have the possibility that the trigger itself has failed and it's telling the switch box not to function. The DVA meter tells us that. An ohms test, an ohm meter, unless it's a broken wire or deteriorated to the point where it just doesn't read or has a super low reading, it's not the answer. If you get something that is close to being right, it still could be wrong. And again, you're just running around in circles, spending money where you don't have to. This is a video that I didn't really want to have to make. But seeing what's been out on the internet lately and been dropping, and it's popular YouTubers that are spreading this information, I just wanted to clarify that as professionals, it's not how we do it. It isn't. The backyard guy, he might do that. He might get away and get lucky a couple times, but the go-to is a DVA meter or a DVA adapter. They can be purchased online. For those YouTubers that want to get into this stuff and do it professionally, so to speak, and get some credibility outside of being an entertainment channel, buy a DVA meter or an adapter, hook it up to your voltmeter, learn the right process, and teach people that way. For more tips and tricks, I'd be happy to help you guys out. Stop in my YouTube channel and look around. I've got plenty of videos there on diagnosing and showing how to replace things the proper methods. So with that, sorry for a bit of a rant. I know that my wife is fuming in the other room saying that you shouldn't have done that, but I did because I felt it needed to be said. And like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. My wife lets me. You never know. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you keep your boat on the water and out of the shop. If you found these tips useful, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more expert marine maintenance tips. Check out these other videos on the screen right now to keep your engine running smooth. Until next time, I'm Jamie from Marine Doctor's YouTube channel, getting you back on the water.